Hey guys, it's Maisie, and for today's video I'm basically going to do my highlights of my Italy trip. So let's get into the video. First of all, I would say when we were on the way down there, Meg's hands literally turned blue. Like, I'm not talking like casual, like this is like subtle blue, like proper blue. Like she was turning into a Smurf, that type of blue. Like, I think it was something to do with the circulation. We all thought it was something to do with the circulation or whatever. No, we came to the conclusion that it was a dye on the seats. You'll understand why we thought this in a second. Because basically, like, the seats that we were sitting on were like below. Background story. She lost her phone down the middle of like two seats, and so she was putting her hands down there to try and get her phone back. And obviously, the dye off the seats has come onto her hands. So she ended up with blue hands. It was pretty funny, if I'm honest, because no one worked out until like a few days after we all realised dye off the seats probably. And so then, like, that night when we went down for dinner, like, we were like, okay, it's gonna be alright, nice dinner. No, every day you had pasta as your starter. Like, so now for like, I'm done with pasta for like the next couple of months. Like, don't even, the pasta will be out the window if I'm anywhere near it. Anyway, we had chicken, like piece, like it was like that, like a round like piece of chicken, like breadcrumbs or something. And we were cutting them open, like, to eat it, because you know, that's what you do with food. And some people's were white, like chicken should be, but then some people's were pink. Well, everyone who had pink chicken was like, I'm not going to eat it, like, I'm probably going to get poisoned. It was like salmonella or something because it's probably not cooked. And so they asked the waiter if they could get some more chicken because, you know, it's pink, chicken shouldn't be pink. And he turned around and he genuinely said, no, I'm not changing your chicken. It's at a site from two different companies. One is white and one is pink. Like, no. No. Chicken does not come pink unless you don't cook it properly. Like, I don't know what companies he's on about, what lies he's trying to feed us all, but no, we weren't having it. So basically everyone who ended up with pink chicken just never ate it. They just didn't eat it because they were too scared of getting poisoned. So the day after, like, went on the Tuesday, when we were doing our workshops and we went to Lazzie's, basically we were in the bar waiting to go, and like waiting to go down to dinner, toilets, but like how the toilets were, that was like basically the walkway into the bar. So the walkway's here and the toilets were like here. I didn't know anyone was behind that door, okay? So I didn't do like the subtle, I'm just going to open the door. I did the full, I'm going to make an entrance. I whacked this door open. I did not know a woman was stood behind the door. There was like a woman who worked there, like, stood right behind the door. Yeah, it literally went smack bang into her face. I was trying to say sorry to her, but I don't think she understood me because she was foreign. So I don't think she knew. She just gave me like a really angry look and just walked away. And I was like, this is not my fault. This was yours for standing behind a door. Never stand behind doors. That's what I've learned. And that day, when we were in Lazzie's, I'm going to show you the ice cream that I had. I took a picture. I had one of these ice creams. It was Kinder. Look how big that is, right? So I had one of them. We were all stood in a circle eating our ice creams because that's what we do. Why not? And, like, you know the swirly bit on top? I thought it would be a very good idea to not eat that bit with a spoon, but like to eat it with my mouth. So I went down, like, go bite it like that. That didn't happen. Not my face and my hand with the ice cream in did not cooperate with each other. And so I ended up literally my face, just face planted into the ice cream. So I literally had like my face like all around that, like my nose and my mouth and my cheeks, like just had ice cream all over it. And so I had to like walk over to everyone at this point, all my mates and everyone who I'm with are laughing at me. And so then I have to like walk over to the bench. People are walking by at this point just looking like, why has she got ice cream all over her face? So I had to like try to get tissues out my bag and try and wipe this ice cream off my face without, it was just a nightmare really. It was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Don't recommend you trying to do that in public next time. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to try that again. So on the Wednesday, we went into Venice. So we're casually driving to like the border thing to get into Venice, and you have to pay your tourist fee, like, to go in. Because they thought, so we're all like getting off to the toilet, paid €1 for Portaloos, which I was livid with. It was disgusting. €1 I had to pay just to go in a Portaloo. I mean, what is the world coming to? What is the world coming to? Anyway, we all got back onto the coach. Daz and Stu, who were the drivers, are there, like with Debs, who was our tour guide, trying to pay this tourist fee. They said that they wouldn't let us through because our coach isn't the right, like, modern as modern as we said, and apparently we're not a school according to them. So, an hour later, it took an hour for us to sort this whole dilemma out. Everyone was coming in and on the coach. Everyone was getting impatient. They wanted us to pay an extra €200 for it. We were like, no. But luckily, Daz and Stu were organised, and they managed to get the right, like, the documents to, like, prove what they were saying. So they let us through in the end. So that was an eventful time. And literally, as we, like, went through the border thing, we looked out the window to our left, and we just saw this man running up the road with, like, a massive wind mirror in his hand, like wires on it and everything, like full on, like, wind mirror come off. And we're like, Mike, look at that man, like, he's lost a wind mirror, like, that's genuinely hilarious. No. This man was getting onto our coach. Then it turned out that it was Stu, our coach driver Stu. It was our wind mirror that fell off. Like, how embarrassing. Like, none of us will ever understand how it fell off. It just sort of fell off, and he ran and collected it, and it was the most hilarious thing I think I've ever seen. Like, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. So then, when we were in Venice, our tour guide Debs had like a black umbrella that she'd hold up in the air so that we all knew where she was, so we could all follow her. No, Debs is like about the same height as me, so I'm like 5 something, like 5'5" or something, so I'm pretty short. So Debs is like the same size as me. It's the crowded place you could ever find in Venice, right? And she's just stood there with this umbrella that none of us could barely see. No one could really see her and her umbrella. So it was a bit useless, if I'm honest. It was pretty useless. And so then, because she knew, because we went to Verona the next day, and she knew that we couldn't really see her with her umbrella, so she thought that she would wear, like, double the amount. So she wore, like, a neon pink coat with her black umbrella. So she's holding her black umbrella in the air, but it was a really hot day. It was like 20 degrees or something stupid, like, it was really hot. So she stood there with her umbrella in the air with her neon coat on. So none of us could see the umbrella, we'd just see her neon coat. No, she totally defeated the object of being able to see her. She brought her umbrella down and she took her coat off because she was hot. Like, how are we meant to follow you now, Debbie? Like, it was a very silly decision, but we all like you, so shout out to you, Debs. Thanks for guiding us around Italy. You've done a very good job. And also, whilst we're in Venice, we were basically, like, on this bridge, like the busiest bridge you could possibly ever find, I think. Like, you didn't know where anyone was. It was like save yourself scenario. Save yourself. It was every man for his own on that bridge. It was awful. Basically, there was, like, people. There was this man selling something. You know, like, the little, like, things with like stress things with flour in, like ball thingies. You know what I mean? With flour, like make a face on it or whatever. Basically, he was selling them. He turned round to us all and was like, "Gucci goo, la la." And ever since he said that, our whole, like, group, like, our inside joke has been that, because it was really funny, and we were just like, no, go away. We don't want to buy you little toys. Like, we're not two. I don't know who he thought he was. Don't know. So, we're still in Venice at this point, and we are lining up to get back onto the water taxi to get back to the other side of Venice, basically, to get onto our coach and go back to our hotel. And we were waiting in this queue for like probably 15 minutes, and Adam, who was our like, who he done our workshops with, he's so funny. Like, shout out to Adam if you're watching this, you're great. Like, you're so funny. You're amazing. Because he's a dancer, right? He can dance like proper good. He started dancing in the middle of, so like basically our queue's here, and he was like stood here like just casually dancing with like no music or anything, just casually dancing like as you do. Just as he was dancing, this like Chinese tourist group walk past. I'm not joking you. They were giving him like the weirdest looks ever. They were like, I think they were thinking like, why is this random guy dancing in the middle of Venice, sort of thing. And after he'd finished, they all started like applauding him. That was the most funniest thing. They were like just like, and we were just like, no, stop. Like, no, this is not part of your experience. Like, go away. Go back with your tour guide to probably Mark Square where you're off to anyway. That happened. That was an eventful time. Got onto the water taxi at this point, and basically there's like a row here and a row here, and we were like at the end of this row, and the windows were like plastic. Like, it wasn't glass, it was plastic. Pretty unsafe if you ask me. And like the window near us was like open like about this much. Wow. This water was a bit choppy. Just a tad bit choppy this day. Basically, Tamsin, Meg and Amy were sat here. No, Tamsin, Meg and Aaron were sat here, and then me, Amy and Lewis. This like massive wave like came up our window, like behind us, and we were like, oh, okay, great wave. We looked to the side of us, and this massive wave like just came through the window, through that gap in the window, and drenched Megan and Aaron, and like splashed up Tamsin. And that was, honestly, we were all in hysterics. It was the most funniest thing you would have ever seen. Like, it was almost like it went in slow motion when it just hit them. It was hilarious. I feel like it's one of them things where it was definitely an in the moment thing. We went to Verona on the Thursday, and we were buying ice cream. So as you do, you go up, we went up to like the ice cream bar stall, whatever it is, thingy in the restaurant. And our good friend Matt, he turned round to the woman at the counter and went, English? Right, we all found this funny. But you know when that one person like laughs like way too much about it, like thinks it's hysterically hilarious when it's not that, like it's funny but it's not that funny. I was that person. I genuinely had to walk away. I was like crouched on the floor, hysterically laughing, like tears were coming out of my eyes and everything. And poor Matt did not understand why I was laughing so much. If I'm honest, I don't really understand why I was laughing that much. It's just that it was funny how he literally just turned around to the woman and went English. Like, she went like, what ice cream do you want? And he was just like, English? Like as if it was an ice cream flavour. He just wanted to know if he spoke our language, which I totally understand, but I don't know why, I just found that genuinely hilarious. And so on that night, we went back to the hotel, and that's when we did like all our sing-offs and our karaoke night, which was hilarious. And at the end, we all sang I Will Survive, like as a collective group, and we all got up and we all singing I Will Survive, and it was the best time ever. So after that, we went back, like we all went to the bar. It was like 10, half 10 at this point. We went into the bar. Lewis orders his mocktail, gets us all to try it. It was revolting. Like, it was cherry. Ugh. It was genuine. It was horrible. It was disgusting. Like, I don't understand how we drank it. It was vile. It was vile. It tasted like Christmas tree and tinsel mixed together. Even though I love them things. no, I don't really like them together. Whilst we were doing our karaoke thing, Aaron was like the judge, and he had to decide with Keena who like won the sing-off. Adam found them genuinely like hilarious, so he was filming them and Aaron turns to the camera and goes, "Don't eat cabbage for tea." Like, where did that come from? Like, no one's gonna understand where he got that saying from, why he came out with it, but it was hilarious. Like, he just casually goes, "Don't eat cabbage for tea." Aaron, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Like, you're good. Like, you just make up random phrases and it's great. It's genuinely great. After that, we all went to the room. Well, I say our room. Basically, it was Amy and Phoebe's room, but Megan and Tamsin moved into it. And then me, Lewis and Aaron were just in there, just chilling, as you do. So we're just casually in there, messing around, doing what you do, playing cards or whatever. And by this point it was like about 12 o'clock. We were all really tired. Mind you, there's a double bed in there, so we're all sat on the double bed. We were all very, very tired. So we all thought, do you know what? Let's just sleep in here. So we're all, like, six of us, all fitted onto a double bed, had like blankets and everything all over us. We're all like just about to go to sleep. By this point it's like 3 o'clock, and then in comes my mum and her friends out of nowhere, waking us all up. That's basically all my highlights from Italy. I hope you enjoyed the video, and you can follow all my social media links here. And you can comment down below and give it a thumbs up if you want to. And also subscribe. That would be very helpful. You can subscribe too. And I'll see you next week with another video.